Welcome to the Finding the Magic podcast, where books come alive. I'm Tricia Copeland, a fiction author and host of this show. If you love books, finding great reads, and hearing about the story behind the story directly from the authors, this is the place for you. Whether you like fantasy, science fiction, dystopian, or romance titles, I think you'll find something to love in my playlist. Listen in to discover something magical about a book or two today. Welcome, Alexander.
Hi, happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Today we have Alexander Verbeek-van in Toren. He is the author of Corruption. Is this your first novel?
This is the first novel getting published, yes. I have written many more, but this is the first one that got lucky.
Well, congratulations. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
And is it already out or coming out soon?
It's coming out January 13th.
January 13th. So probably by the time this releases, your book will already be out. So January 13th, 2026. Jump in and tell us all about Corruption.
All right. Well, it's a young adult queer fantasy novel that takes place on a world where everybody is born with 5 crystals embedded in their body. And with most people, one of those crystals lights up. And whichever crystal lights up decides your role in society. However, I said most people. My main character, Revan, has 2 crystals lit up. And that means that he is an Othercrystalled, or else, as the slur goes. He would be loathed and hated if anyone found out. Thankfully, when he's at school, he keeps his second crystal hidden at all costs. And when he's home, everybody knows who he is, and there he'll be fine and accepted. However, and he can go home through a magic gate. However, one day he is at school, and suddenly the magic gate stops working. All the magic stops working. And Revan now has to try and stay alive in a world where nobody knows who he is. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, he finds out a clue about who got the magic to disappear. And then other crystals start dying randomly.
Interesting. So do the people die when their crystals die, or they just lose some powers, or how is that affecting their world?
When I say Othercrystalled, I'm referring to the people. So yes, the people die.
Oh, the people die, not just the crystals.
Not just the crystals. No, the people die. Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Nope. It is
not good. How did you come up with the idea for the story?
I really like writing about weird worlds. I really like reading about them as well. I am a big Brandon Sanderson fan, specifically the Stormlight Archive. I don't know if you're familiar, but it takes place.
I've read one book by that author, but not that one. So yeah.
Okay. The Stormlight Archive is a series, very big books. I love every single one of them, the third one the most. It's also a very weird world where storms basically just are very brutal and filled with magic. I'm not pitching that book, but you should totally read it. And I love reading about that stuff, and I wanted to write about weird stuff as well. I want to write about weird worlds. Don't get me wrong, I also love a good historical fantasy every now and then. I also like George R.R. Martin's work, but in general, I like weird. And I wanted to use that weirdness to really express what it's like to be queer, what it's like to be different. And so that's what the crystal thing really was about. Essentially, I just wanted to write about about queerness and, well, the whole other crystal thing and 2 crystals lighting up. Well, it's essentially just about not belonging in a bigger group.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to express through that world. But also, there's just a lot of weirdness in the novel. Not even all of it is covered by the pitch because I just kept yes-ending myself. Okay, we did this, but can we make it weirder? Can we also add that? Ooh, and this would be fun, and this would be nice, and this would be nice. And by the time I was finally done, I was like, okay, now let's make this readable for people.
There has to be a story to go along with all this weirdness, right?
Yeah, and that was actually something I did struggle with. Normally, I don't struggle with world builder's disease, but in this case, I had an entire world big enough for like 10 encyclopedic novels and enough plot for a single story. Thankfully, if you build the world, it's fairly easy. It's much easier to also just slowly have events unfold. And eventually I did get there.
Well, I was gonna say, if you have the world and you have a character, right? You know
Yeah,
where you want them to go, or hopefully you know an end point of the story. It's pretty easy to come up with challenges and things that are gonna disrupt where they want to go. So yeah.
absolutely. I think the other way around would be a lot more difficult. If you have the plot but no world, then good luck designing a good world around that plot. It's better to design a plot around a world.
Maybe so. Yeah, it's interesting because your world almost sounds a little bit dystopian too, like with remnants of, Divergent where or Hunger Games where you weren't from the right class. I think that's fantasy can be a really good mode to like look at all those issues about belonging and being different and it can kind of be a safe space, I feel like. I don't know what your opinion on that is. Some people have different opinions, but
No, I agree. There's a quote I found somewhere, I don't remember where, but it's about how fantasy is hardly a way of escaping reality, rather it's a way of understanding it. And to me, I have even used, like my day job, I am a child psychologist. I have even used fantasy in therapy to help my clients understand their emotions better.
that makes sense. Yeah. It's funny. One time online, I saw this debate about fantasy being bad or good for kids. And I'm like, wait, please do not tell me you're saying that fantasy is bad for kids. But one person was arguing just that it like helped people lived in imaginary worlds and they didn't really, maybe they got so into them, they would get so into the imaginary world that they wouldn't cope with their own world. And I mean, I guess there's like that extreme possibility if like they never saw another person, but that's very unlikely. So,
I
yeah.
can imagine it being bad for some kids. Like if you are overly hyper focusing on something or you're having trouble keeping reality and fiction apart, then
Oh,
yes, it can be bad for you.
okay.
But also you could turn out weird like me, and who would want that? So
And
maybe
you'd
it
be
is bad for
and
you.
you'd
Yeah.
be completely fine, right?
Let's say I am. Yes, let's say I am.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, you are talking to me and you wrote a whole book and somebody
There,
is buying your book and a
there.
publisher published your book. And I think
Was
you
a bit.
have a family from what I read in your bio. So,
I do sort of have a family. Yes, it was
yes,
mostly self-deprecating. I think I turned out okay. Yeah.
you
So,
sound like you turned out okay, only from judging you from 5 minutes in this conversation. But
very
yeah,
happy to hear that. So, conclusion, please do give your kids fantasy. Yeah.
okay. I am a big proponent, so. So Raven is the main character's name, correct?
Revan. It's
Ravan, sorry.
Revan. Yeah.
So does he have friends? What are other challenges that he faces in this book?
He has, there's one kid who is his best friend, essentially. And there's also a girl he has a big crush on. And when we're talking about weirdness, it might I did something strange with the relationships in this world as well. Just taking you back for a moment and talking about another big bit of social commentary. I will get back to my novel, so give
Okay,
me a
no,
second.
it's fine.
I'm going to talk for a brief second about teen pregnancy rates. I'm getting somewhere. So when it comes to sex education, I know that in the States, in a lot of southern states, the only sex education you get is basically abstinence. So your only education is you're not going to get any education, so just don't do it. Intuitively, you might expect that this would mean less teen pregnancy rates. Instead, the opposite is happening. Because, well, tell a teenager, you're not allowed to do this. And what's the teenager going to
They're gonna
do?
do it.
They're going to do it. Looking at that and thinking about that, I was like, well, that's how we deal with teen sex. Let's swing that pendulum in the other direction. So what this world also has is when you turn 16, you are sort of expected to find a friends with benefits. It has an own term in the world called a coden, Koden. And basically, Revan has a coden, and that is his best friend. That's the person he sleeps with in one bed. They are both 18. And before you get your hopes up, there's not any erotica in the novel. It's very important to me that I'm not that interested in teenagers having sex. It's more like I wanted to show a different way of dealing with this. And it essentially, sometimes these kids are having sex, sometimes they are eating. You won't find any thorough descriptions on that. So anyway, he does have a best friend like that. They've known each other for a while, and so there's sort of that happening. But also, are we just codens to each other, or are we a little bit more? And then there's the girl he likes. So you can sort of sense that there is a sort of love triangle happening there. That's a challenge he also has to deal with. Which one of these am I picking? And I'm not gonna spoil anything, but if you're thinking, oh, love triangle, I've heard this before, I know how it ends. No, you don't. You don't. This has a different ending than you are expecting.
Well, and it's a fantasy book. So that sounds like it's a subplot in the book and not maybe like the main plot. I mean, I think most novels have some kind of love because that happens in real life or in fantasy life too. But
Yeah.
Fun.
And love triangles happen a lot in young adult too. So I just wanted to, put my own spin on the thing, so to speak.
Fun. And do his friends, his best friend and his love interest know that he's like this is it Othercrystalled? No. So he's
They
hidden
do
that
not
from
know.
them too.
The only people who know are his family. Nobody else knows that he is Othercrystalled when he is at the school.
Interesting. So,
Which means that he has to keep it hidden at all costs, even for those two people, because he knows how badly Othercrystalled have been hurt in the past, have been bullied, have been kicked off the school if they were too open. So he even keeps it a secret from them.
so where is this other crystal lighting up? I mean, how easy is it? It must be pretty easy to do that if you're sleeping with someone and then, you can cover it up or something. So, yeah.
Well, I also invented the solution for that. So basically, the crystals are sort of, let me just get up here for a second. I hope that, the crystals are sort of in this area. And this world where everybody wears shirts, well, the crystals, keeping them hidden is a bit of a thing. So all the shirts are automatically tied at the hem so that it won't blow in the wind, whenever that happens. And Revan basically just lied to his best friend and said, no, back in my family, we're not taking off our shirts when we're having sex. And the best friend was like, okay, sure, whatever.
Well,
So
that
the best
works.
Yeah, that works. That's the in-story explanation.
So, and I'm guessing there's some amorphous antagonist who's like the evil person or entity that took the magic and is killing off the
Yes,
crystalled people.
yes, there absolutely is, and they are being kept a secret through the first bit of the book. And that's all I'm going to say about that. It's a bit of a twist. I've probably already said too much, but it's a bit of a twist.
Fun.
Yeah.
Well, and how is this written? Is it written through Revan, did I say that correctly?
It's
His
written.
point of view,
Yeah.
or is it third person?
It's all written. It is third person limited, so it's all written
Okay.
through Revan's point of view, but it is a third person. So it's just Revan saw, Revan thought, Revan did.
Okay.
That's mostly what I'm going for.
And are you making this a series? Will this be to be continued, or is this
Uh,
when like the world's done and we move on?
maybe. Like, this is a very interesting world. There's lots of weirdness going on, and I haven't even gotten around to the reason why he has to use a magic gate to go home. And it's a very interesting world. The world building itself is already very interesting. I heard from test readers too. So it's entirely likely I'm going to come back to this, because I also really like the metaphor, like what I can do with crystals, the story I can tell through them, and also the whole, like, what I hope to also be able to tell is that the whole code and system, like I said, I swung the pendulum entirely the other way. And I sort of do criticize that a little bit in the novel. You'll find out when you read it. But if there's ever going to be a sequel, then I do plan on taking that down as well and showing its flaws, because in the first book, it's mostly just Revan and his best friend, and they are happy together, even though there's a love interest. And Revan has no problem with this system. It's just the crystal system he has an issue with. In the next book, if I'm ever going to get around to writing that, then I do plan on taking down the code and system as well, showing Revan how it doesn't always work for everyone, as well as it did for him.
Right. Did they get to choose their codon, or were they assigned? They did get to choose.
No, they absolutely get to choose. You are expected to choose somebody. It's usually just somebody, it's usually just a friend, someone you are maybe sexually attracted to without being romantically attracted to. But you are expected to choose them. Yes, there are no, I want to be very explicit here, there's nothing unconsensual happening there. Well, not in the strict sense of the word, let's just say that. Nobody is assigned, you are expected to choose one yourself.
Well, you've spent so much time on this world, I can't imagine that you wouldn't go back to it and write another story.
That is entirely likely. Yeah, I really like that I was able to throw in everything I wanted and yet still make a coherent story with enough plot to fill a book.
That's amazing. Congratulations again. Corruption comes out January 23rd, right? 2026? 13th, sorry, January 13th, 2026. From Space Wizards, remind me the name of the publisher.
Space Wizard Science Fantasy.
Science Fantasy. I was almost there. I was halfway there.
Yeah.
Tell us where we can find you in your book.
You can find me, well, through the Space Wizard Science Fantasy site, of course. I do not have an author website yet. One might be in the works. I am mostly on Facebook. You can find me at facebook.com/AverNL, NL from Netherlands, Aver as in A from Alexander, VER from the first three letters of my last name. Be warned, if you choose to like or follow me, I am very active, so I will probably spam your wall. I'd be happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you will come back when you publish your second book, because I know it's in there.
I think so too. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Finding the Magic podcast. I'm your host, author and podcaster Tricia Copeland, and I love getting behind the scenes. If you like the podcast, make sure to subscribe and stop in each week to discover new authors and books. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep finding the magic.